Low Targar friends, hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Orc Mode workout, and today was Max Effort Press Day. We tried something new, but you guys know the rules. Please remember to click like down below. When I always give this spiel, and I'm like, we have to keep the likes higher than the dislikes, we did not do so yesterday, just so that you guys know, so please click like down below. And for the ass clown who said, your thing isn't proof that there's a dislike bot, there were tons of people who took screenshots when the dislike bot was made over 3 years ago at the forum where they were doing it. And the screenshot I took was taken within 60 seconds of me uploading a video. There's no way that many people are sitting there waiting for me to upload so they can hit a dislike before it gets a single like. Cut your stupid shit. Now, we did the axle bar press. Went pretty good, and as some people already said, wow, I've acclimated to this fast. I ended up getting a 210 and then missed 220. So I almost got my body weight. Quite frankly, just not enough tricep strength to drive through. So, you know, people will say, well, why did you miss it? Was it a groove issue? No, I mean, we can usually use the groove as an excuse on overhead pressing because it is very groove oriented. I feel like my triceps just needed to be stronger. So let's just blame it on weakness, right? That's called accountability. If I had just been stronger, I would have locked that, right? My excuse is I wasn't strong enough. So we need to work on that. Fortunately, that's fixable. Over to the incline bench. This came up too, and I made a whole video on this. Someone had actually said, well, you do a big arch and it's a shallow angle. No, this is an incline. That's my actual same arch I do on a line and laid out on a flat bench, like with no arch. I have my feet out in front of me, and if you guys have watched any of my skull crusher videos, it's very obvious there's like 3 to 4 inches between my lower back and the bench. Okay, my glutes and my lats are that big. My lats and everything are in full contact with this bench. It's actually around an 18 to 20 degree incline, which is what we want for this, right? If we want to get the most chest growth possible, you want a fairly shallow incline. You don't want the 45 degree for that, okay? The 45 degree is going to give you, you know, again, better delts, but you're going to take a lot of the chest out. This is going to be a very, very potent chest exercise. But we're still at an incline, because people need to remember the best chest activation actually happens at a shallow incline or a shallow decline. And we can get a shallow decline by arching on a flat bench. Okay. This I'm trying to work the other direction, and I'm trying to make sure that I hit my interior delts very, very hard. And incline benching in general is arguably, potentially better for the interior delts than overhead pressing. And that's a point of contention. I will concede that's a point of contention. But it sure as heck works them. And it works them hard. And I feel an enormous amount of chest on this. So we PR'd it today. I went up to 205. What I said last time, man, I need to go up 5 pounds, not a micro load. I went up to 205. I got 4 sets of 10, and then I'm like, well, let me take the last one out to an AMRAP, which is what I did, which means we got to keep increasing the weight. And the first set's always hard. Like, I always feel like with the first set with the real weight on it, like I can barely get 10. And then as I get into the groove, it gets easier. But I got 13. I got 12, and then I paused the last rep on the 5th set. So we know I can do at least 13 reps with 205. We need to keep bringing this up. Like I said, I need to get this up to 225 for sets of 10. That's a good milestone to reach for. Okay. Feel like my bench should be going up appropriately at that point. And for those curious, yes, I do use the widest grip on this bar, mainly because I do want to get more chest. Even though I'm mainly close gripping now, more chest is not a bad thing. Main thing is we are trying to make sure, though, that we really do get the delts and triceps. And I'm going to try to hit all that super, super hard. You guys will see with my exercise selection, that is going to be the goal. But again, a lot of times people will say, hey, what are you doing with these different lifts? Well, I'm trying to protect my shoulders. I had a lot of shoulder irritation not that long ago. I finally have it resolved. I have it fixed. I don't want to aggravate it again. And I notice even if I do skull crushers too heavy, it almost aggravates that left side. So I'm trying to pick the movements that give me the best stimulation. They're going to give me the most overall muscle growth for every muscle involved in my bench and my overhead press. It's easy on my shoulders. Okay. Just one of those that fits the bill. And we're going to see another one thrown in later. It'll surprise people where I put it, but it makes sense when you factor it in. It would normally not be in that sort of slot if we were doing most people's training. I'm an advanced lifter. I have different needs. Then we did the axle bar press for volume like we always do. I added a micro plate. Now the significant thing to that is that this is generally now a hair heavier than I've done with the other bars. I was doing 135 for 5x10 with the straight bar a while back when I was doing this before I switched over to the axle. And I had done it with a football bar. Okay. I just now got to it last time with some extra reps with 135, so I added the micro plates, fractional plates. This is 137.5. I got 4x10, and then we got an 11th rep on the 5th set. This is going to keep going up. So all my pressing is now increasing. All these supplemental lifts, we're getting stronger. And this is not a new one, so I'm not like just now getting used to the axle bar. I've been doing this for weeks and weeks. I was just doing more reps. Right, and I actually had a clown come in and say, "Oh my God, what do you have 100 pounds on the bar? You're wearing a belt." Because he saw one of my other videos, and it's like, you guys have seen me strict press 225. I don't know where people get this, and we wear a belt to get better neuromuscular efficiency. Like, it's something that I've made videos on. More of them are coming out. They're kind of ahead in the feed. You know, people ask silly questions like, "Why are we wearing a belt?" We wear a belt so we can lift more weight. Okay, let me make that clear. We wear belts to get better neuromuscular efficiency so our muscles fire harder and we can squat and overhead press and bench and deadlift more weight. And we're not lifting more weight because we've got a slingshot bouncing us out of something. We're lifting more weight because of improved bracing and neuromuscular efficiency. That means, let me put this in layman's terms, because I could say, well, you know, the muscles are contracting hard. Let me put it in layman's terms. It gives you gains. If your muscles can fire harder and you can lift 5 more pounds for the same 10 reps, that's called gains. We wear a belt to get more jacked, bro. That is the reason. Is that a fair answer for people who don't get it? Because I want to get jacked as fast as possible, so I wear the belt on any lift in which bracing is involved, in which it will increase neuromuscular efficiency. Because I want to get bigger faster. See, I don't want to get bigger slower. I want to get bigger faster so I can get stronger faster. It shouldn't be a difficult concept. Sometimes I have to talk down to people because they don't get it. So I'll make that very, very clear. We gain more muscle because of the belt, through a series of processes in the body. Gives you more gains. So what did we do after the pressing? We did dips, bodyweight dips, tricep versions. Now, some people are going to be like, oh, you should go lower. You know, I'm 43 years old and I'm getting a deep stretch and pump off this. I'm not interested in your goofy ass, silly, shoulder destroying things. Or you should go all the way down to your delts touch the bars. Yeah, you won't be lifting when you're my age, dumbass. And I hate to have to be that way, but there are times when I have to say that to people. When you're my age, you will not be lifting weights anymore. I can absolutely guarantee you that. Some of you guys who make these statements, you're done. You're going to be done lifting at 30. No, you're not going to be benching 300. You're not going to be benching 315, any of that. When you're 40, you can forget it. No, you should not be dropping your delts down low on a dip. If you can get to parallel, that's good. Now, I'll quit being a dick. Let me get over to being helpful again. I lit my triceps up with this. So why am I doing this? Triceps. Like, I need an exercise that is very tricep dominant I can recover from that will help my benching. Yes, I do still feel this in my chest quite a bit. Actually, through the whole middle of my chest. It gives like a whole stretch through the whole thing. The lifts that I'm doing actually hit the triceps quite hard relative to some of their counterparts. That axle bar actually hits your triceps harder on the overhead press. My triceps really do need to get built up. So I'm like, well, let's just do dips. Because if I don't want to mess with smaller exercises that cause their set of issues, and I stay focused and I don't add weight to the dip, I don't ever get joint issues or inflammation from body weight dips. So I just did these close to failure, took them to fatigue. Maybe the last set here was failure. You know, which put most of them around the 15-ish rep mark. Now, people say, that's all you can do? Well, I'm 220 and I did 3 other presses first, so yeah. When I'm fresh, you guys have seen me do 5x10 with a 55-pound plate. Okay? That's fresh. Now, keep in mind, a 55-pound plate on a 220 guy only puts it to 275. So that's a 10. Do the math. 15 is fairly close. Maybe a little bit more would be appropriate, again, for my body weight. But I'm also fatigued. I mean, I just did a max overhead press, 5 sets of incline, and 5 sets of overhead press. I'm fatigued. And it gave the desired results. Yes, I felt my chest still, but my triceps were the most lit up. I got just as much tricep pump as I do off of my skull crushers. Now, for people say, well, how's this going to help? How's this going to help your benching and overhead pressing? Has getting good at dips ever hurt anybody's bench press or overhead press in the history of lifting? I want you to think about that. It's a big multi-joint exercise that really enormously recruits your triceps and pecs. It is arguably, depending on which expert you ask, easily in the top 3 of all tricep exercises ever. If I want to grow my triceps, doing really high rep sets of bodyweight dips as a guy who's over 200 pounds will stimulate my triceps as a finisher. Not a problem. I'm incidentally happening to get a little bit of chest work in that's at a different angle than my other pressing. Therefore, because it's done at the end when I'm fatigued, doing plenty of reps, plenty of volume, well, that's a simple question again. Have you ever gotten your pecs and triceps bigger and your bench press went down as a result of it? Doesn't usually work that way. Same thing on the overhead press. If I know I need more triceps, I'm doing dips now. Okay, throwing those dips in at the end, and I'm doing them in a tricep dominant way. And my triceps are lit up by the time I'm done. So that's good. It'll work as long as I can recover from all of it. By keeping it light, keeping it body weight, being very careful not to over stress anything by stretching too low, going beyond my limits, we get the desired result. And of course, we do our 5 sets of face pulls at the end with this heavier band. I don't know what I'm going to do if this band becomes too light. I'll probably have pretty big rear delts by then, I guess. If I do, maybe I could loop a red with a blue together, because I feel like the green, it stretches different. It's supposed to be 65-pound pairs versus these 50s and the reds being 30s, but sometimes it feels tighter. Like I don't really know about that. Even though I've measured it and it measures accurate with the digital scale, I don't know. If I have to, I'd go to it, or I'll just get to where I can do more reps with this or longer holds. I'll make it work though. I've got enough bands, I'll figure something out. Main thing is though is that we want to get that squeeze, that scapular retraction, use those rear delts, pull the scapula together. But, overall I was happy with the workout. I mean, I got 210 with the axle bar press, and as some people already have said, another coach down there, yeah, that's a fast acclimation. And no, you generally aren't going to be as strong as your straight bar. So he's actually doing very well, which because I've been doing a lot of rep work with it, that helps. I've been doing tons of rep work with it, so I've gotten used to the bar a little bit. But it's fun. I might mess with it more. But overall, good workout. Happy with it. So I hope it's been informative. And I will talk to you guys next time.